I'm going to go back over to my AutoCAD file and take another look. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the distance for one part. So I'll measure from here to here and see that it's 1.5. Okay, so this height is 1.5, which is in fact for this yellow line down to this one. Alright, so how far have we drawn our curtain walls? We've started drawing from the ground FFL, and we drew the curtain walls as high as the upper floor. Now let's go over to the elevation and see what's going on in there. In this file, we can see that these curtain walls are not going all the way up to the first level, so that's actually why I insist that you double check your plans. The curtain walls here are a bit below the FFL. Here is the first level, this upper line is the FFL, but the curtain walls up to here. So this in fact will serve as the first level slab, which you'll have to reduce from the elevation of the curtain walls. So if I measure this distance from here down to here, I'll see it's 40 centimeters, so I will have to reduce that. I'm gonna go over here, select my curtain wall, and then I'm gonna give a negative 40 centimeter top offset to it, so it goes a bit lower. Alright? So now that the curtain wall's gone lower, I can go ahead and begin with parting the curtain walls. But there's one thing here. As you can see, although we've lowered the curtain wall, these lines are not aligned together, and this yellow line is actually below the top offset of the curtain wall. So what is the problem here? We've also lowered the curtain wall's offset. This is where you'll have to go back to your plan and double check one more time, and to see if you're the one who made the mistake, or if there's a problem with the plan. So the first thing I'll check is if I made the mistake. So I'll start by taking a look at the levels I have available. The problem happens to lie here in the first step, which is that this yellow line over here belongs to the first floor in AutoCAD, whereas the first floor level lies right over here. So you can see that there's a difference between them, even though we did align the CAD plan with our drawing in Revit. So why did this problem occur? That's because of this one. My mistake was that I aligned the plan with the TOS level, which is the structural top of slab, when I should have aligned it with the architectural level. This one is clearly 10 centimeters below the zero offset, so that's why we had a problem. In fact, I did this on purpose so you would know that it is possible to make such mistakes during your modeling process, and for you to understand that one single misalignment could make you go through with your drawing inaccurately, and you might think to yourself that it's okay, it's just 10 centimeters apart, I'll just continue with the model without aligning, but then later you'll realize that you made a mistake, as everything was supposed to be aligned together. So you should know that this is possible to happen in projects. For instance, here I aligned the level with the TOS by mistake, instead of aligning it with the FFL, which is also at the zero offset. But now the question is, where is the FFL? We can't see the tag for it. We have a TOS and an FFL, which we're going to have to organize when we later on get to the videos about organizing the levels. But anyway, currently we can't find the FFL line. So we'll just have to look around the plan. Maybe its line is too short and has gone, for example, in the middle of the drawing. So here it is. This line is actually the first FFL, which I will have to hover on and press the tab key to select it. But also, if you found that you couldn't select it using this method, just go a little bit far from the plan and go over to the blank parts. Then select the level line from there, and then you're going to go over to the tag and extend or move it over to the other ones. So I'm going to grab it from here and I'm going to move it all the way out of the plan. And for instance, I'm going to place it right here. Okay, now I'm going to grab the align command, and this level is going to be the base. Then we're going to align this level line with it. Now let's check the drawings again. Now here we can see that the problem was correctly detected and fixed, and now the lines and the drawings are aligned. So in fact, the level lines are aligned with their FFLs. Now let's try pressing HI while we select this CAD plan and check if they're coordinated. So by looking at this part, we can tell that this part is correct now. So while we're here, we can also try and continue drawing. How much was the distance? It was 1.5, which is what we have now since everything is aligned. Now, how do we select only the upper panels? There's actually several ways to do that. I'm going to tell you all of them from best to worst. And actually, maybe the worst isn't the best term. What I'm trying to say is that some are less efficient to use than the other ones, because they would be time-consuming and exhausting. One way is that we could hover on here and press the Tab key, select this first one, hold the Control key and select the others, and then change their types. So that's the first way, which isn't very ideal. The second way is to drag over the items. So I could drag a box over here, then select them. This was actually not a bad method, as it also worked for us here. We've only got one cat plan and one set of curtain walls, so we could easily drag over their upper panels and select them. So this one is not too bad. Now the third way, which in my opinion is the most correct one, is to hover on one of them, press the Tab key, then select the panel, right click on it, hover on select panels, and then click on along horizontal grid, which as you can see will select all the other panels which are along the same horizontal grid as the first one we chose. Then you'll just have to unpin them, then go over here and make your changes and change the types. So for that I'm going to go over here and duplicate their current type. And for the name of the duplicate, for example, I can add the term solid at the end. Alright, now how do we change their materials? If you recall, we've already created our panel family that we needed, but the thing is that there aren't any parameters here that we can change their materials by. We do have this finish parameter, but the thing is that it has an empty menu. Now why is that? This is because when we were making this family, we never assigned a parameter to its material to begin with. So now we can't change it, and we're just going to have to fix the family. Therefore, I'm going to click on Edit Family here. Then I'll go to the 3D view, select both of the panels, and then I'll go over to the Properties palette to assign a parameter to their materials. As for the name of the parameter, for example, I'm just going to put Panel Material. We're going to make sure to include this parameter in the type, and essentially we're going to make our family a parametric one. Then we're going to reload this into the project, overriding the existing version. And now that we have it in the project, we can also change its material. Alright, now once again I'm going to select one of these panels and select the other ones along the horizontal grid, and we said these are all solid. So now we're going to go over to Edit Type, and now here we have this new parameter. So now we are able to assign a different material to this panel from the whole curtain wall. I'll have to make a new material to make for the curtain walls material that is solid. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose one of the default materials we have. Then we're going to try and duplicate it. And we're going to name that new material Panel, followed by Solid. And as for its color, it seems to be already fine. You could give it any color that you can identify. And it's done. Okay, so now what about the lower panels, which are supposed to be of glass? We're going to go to Edit Type, and as you know, for changing the material of these panels, you won't have to unpin them. So now I'm going to go over here and assign a transparent material to the lower panels. For instance, I'm going to scroll through these materials, and I'll just select this glass material. Its color looks fine, so I'm going to assign this to the panels, and now they should all become transparent, like so. Okay, now we're going to de-isolate the plan, and we're going to have a quick check. So as you can see, this is how our plan looks like so far. And as for this side right here, this one has a different type of curtain walls. So let's go check out the left side of the building. And we see we've got the same type of curtain walls we've used for this area. So I'm going to select these and hit HI for the curtain walls, so it would be easier for me to focus on them. So I'm going to also place a horizontal grid on the upper panels, then select both of them, and then I'm going to have to unpin them first. And afterwards I'm going to change their types to the solid one. It's as simple as that. So there we go. So far we were able to finish the curtain walls for the ground floor. Now the next thing we need to do is to place the door for the entrance and its curtain wall. And as for the right side of the building, we're gonna need to fix this part, which is also for the entrance. And finally, we will just have to take a look at the whole drawing and see if it 100% matches with the AutoCAD plan or not. So in the next session, we will observe and discuss all these, and essentially we will finish the west elevation.